Welcome back, everyone. This is part 4 of the Yin Yang mini series. Today, we're talking about Yang excess. Welcome back. As I mentioned at the intro, this is part 4 of the Yin Yang mini series, but this is episode 58, y'all, of the Holistic Me podcast, a journey to finding wellness within. And I'm your host, Jessica Bravo. Thank you so much for being here and for joining me. So, talking about Yang excess today. Yang is something that we broke down a few episodes ago as far as the qualities of Yang energy and it being, fiery, light, more related to heat rather than cold, which is yin. Okay, so some of these symptoms that we may be experiencing if we have Yang excess is a lot of heat in the body. You'll feel very hot. You'll feel burning sensations, possibly even in certain areas. You'll notice people that have a very red face, right? And maybe even some heat sensation in the face. If there's any inflammation in the body, you'll even possibly experience a burning sensation with that inflammation as well. You may be experiencing rashes in your body, maybe very itchy and dry as well. If you're sweating, you'll possibly have profuse sweating more than usual, where you're sweating through your clothes even. And that is a sign of Yang excess. It could be something that we would look at in yin deficiency as well. Profuse sweating, especially sweating at night, is linked to yin deficiency or night sweats, right? But if you're having profuse sweating even during the day when you're not being very active, then that is a sign of Yang excess. Another really big clue as to whether or not you have Yang excess is that you're feeling really hungry and like you want to eat, and you're eating big quantities frequently throughout the day, or even feeling really thirsty to the point that you're guzzling down water or drinking liquids constantly, but don't really feel satiated as far as your thirst is concerned. Like you're still always feeling thirsty. That would be a sign of Yang excess. Whereas yin deficiency, you may feel thirsty, but you really don't want to guzzle the water down. Like you want to drink in small amounts, a little bit at a time, probably sipping your drink, but you still feel thirsty as well throughout the day. You're just not guzzling it down. Like you can't get enough of it. Some other signs of Yang excess also include diarrhea or burning diarrhea. You may have burning or really dark yellow urine, or even an increase in your sex drive as well. If you have Yang excess, you probably feel like you have a lot of energy, but at the same time, really restless. And this can lead to poor sleep quality if you're tossing and turning all night due to this excess energy that you have within your body. And because of this, you may be really quick to anger, you may feel agitated and easily stressed by your surroundings because of this high energy that you have within you that's making you perhaps feel even anxious. Now, as I mentioned, this is typically linked to acute conditions. So in many cases, you may even be experiencing a fever or high temperature when you have Yang excess, and it can be due to external pathogens that have invaded your system and your body is fighting something off. But in some cases, it is also due to your own behaviors and actions as far as your lifestyle is concerned that have caused you to kind of build this fire within you and cause an excess in energy. Typically, though, in these cases where it's based more on lifestyle and your own actions, that's when we talk more about the chronic state, and it's more of a yin deficient condition or underlying cause that has caused you to have an apparent Yang excess. So, just as we would see this Yang and Yin energy be balanced, if one is depleted, if our Yin is depleted, then it's going to appear as though our Yang is in excess. So we have a lot of similar symptoms as I described in the beginning stages of this and describing some of the symptoms you might have with Yang excess. You will have some similar symptoms with yin deficiency, so that dryness, general dryness in the body, feeling and sensations of warmth, night sweats, things like that. A lot of these symptoms overlap because they are in relation to each other, right? So, but when you have a yang excess, a true yang excess, even from an acute condition caused by external pathogens, then it could appear as though you have yin deficiency, right? Again, it's an apparent discrepancy between the two. So it's really about getting down to some of those more detailed symptoms. For example, with night sweats versus profuse sweating any time of the day, to determine yin deficiency versus yang excess. Hopefully that makes some sense. So, as discussed in some of our previous episodes, we've already covered yin deficiency and yang deficiency. And so, I really wanted to give you some examples of what these symptoms for yang excess would be like. The yin deficiency and yang deficiency, as I just alluded to, tend to be more of a chronic condition or come from chronic behavior or things that make it come about in long-term lifestyle actions that cause a deficiency either in our yin or yang energy. And our excess, yang excess, or even yin excess, which we didn't discuss, but again, that tends to be more of an apparent thing, but yang excess can occur in and of itself. And that those are more acute conditions. So something to note and be aware of, if you don't tend to have this type of energy, if you resonate with some of these symptoms and it's not something that you typically have, then know that you're possibly having an acute flare-up of some sort within your system, maybe linked to something you're already diagnosed with, or just having the knowledge and awareness that your body is possibly fighting something off. Whether it's something that you've had, some of these symptoms that you've had long-standing, and you've had them for maybe years or months at a time now, and you can maybe put the pieces of the puzzle together and realize that you have a deficiency that you need to work with, and learn some of the tools and ways in which you can build up that energy to bring it back to baseline and balance out that yin and yang energy within your system. And that may require the help of a professional such as myself, seeing an acupuncturist, whether in person or virtually, or an herbalist as well that can help. There are obviously things that you can do on your own, different lifestyle modifications that you can make, whether it's physical activity that you modify or foods that you nourish your body with. All of these things, as discussed in some of the previous episodes within this mini-series, are going to help bring your body back into a state of balance. And that's the beauty of acupuncture and Chinese medicine, in my opinion, is that really we're just working with your body's own innate healing potential and ability to be in a state of balance all the time, and understanding that these fluctuations will happen as things arise within our life, whether they're external causes or internal causes, but we can make the modifications needed and use the body's own healing process to make that balance come back as it should. If you've watched this far, I truly appreciate you, and thank you for checking out the whole mini-series. This concludes the Yin Yang mini-series. Let me know in the comments, though, what questions you might have regarding Yin and Yang energy, what you want to learn more about, and perhaps I'll revisit this whole series again in the future to answer your questions, and certainly I'll respond to your questions in the comments or within the Facebook group. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel so that you can get updates whenever new episodes become available, always happening Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday. And join the Facebook Holistic Me community group so that you can join me on our Wednesday episode for our live Wellness Wednesday. That's where I go live and I either share a wellness routine with you, whether it be acupressure, meditation, or Reiki. And we do that together live, and you can always watch the replays here or in the Facebook group, but going live is much more beneficial because I can interact with you one-on-one through that live session. So I hope to see you there. If you've enjoyed this, make sure to give it a thumbs up and go ahead and catch up on the past episodes of this mini series and check out any of the other videos that interest you from this season and our past seasons as well. Looking forward to seeing you again next time. Take care. Until then, stay well, my friends.